Shivashakti Ammal. Good evening, ma'am. Earlier I could hear you, but you could not hear what I was saying. Okay. Ranjini, hi.
Yes. Good evening, Srila teacher.
Only now the system became clear. Now can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
What about Shivashakti Rajamal? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry,
Yes, yes.
I'm mute myself. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay, fine.
Good evening, ma'am.
Earlier
Your
I was replying, but
now your volume is very high.
okay. Earlier, when I said, I realized that you could not hear me.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Sir, your mic is mute, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Robert,
Okay.
sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening,
I
good
welcome
evening.
you. I welcome you, sir.
Oh, thank you to both. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Very
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Is clear, no?
Yes,
Clear.
very clear.
Okay, can you just try the...
1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Sir, Robert, sir.
Yeah,
Please now, sir. Please try now, sir.
okay. I'll try the
Yes.
screen.
Sir, first
Yeah. So
show the
my audio is clear, right?
audio is clear.
My face also is visible.
Sir, before share the screen, please click share computer sound and optimize screen, because you want a video also.
Yeah, those two things on that day we tried, no? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Click two options first: share computer sound and optimize screen sharing for video clip.
Yeah. Where did we find that? That is before share.
Below, check the video, sir.
Yeah. Where is that? Share computer sound. Yes, I done it.
Okay, sir.
So can I just try the screen? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Visible screen is visible, sir.
Screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Visible, no?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, can I try with the video?
Video. Yes, sir.
Okay. Is
Sir,
the videos
yes, sir. Hearing.
no, video also you can see?
Yeah, yes, yes.
It's okay, no? It's moving, no problem, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I
No
just
problem,
want.
sir. No problem.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
Clear. Clear now. Okay, sir.
Okay, done, done,
Thank
done.
you, sir. Thank you.
And finally,
ഒരു 70.
Good evening, Ranjini teacher. Good evening,
Good
Shivashakti
evening,
ma'am.
good evening, Jayashree ma'am. Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening, JC teacher.
Audio is clear now?
Yes,
Ma'am.
audio
Yes,
clear.
ma'am. Clear,
Yes.
ma'am. Ranjani ma'am. Dr. Ranjani ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Dr. Shivasakti. Good evening, Dr. Ranjani.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Qatar, madam.
Good evening. Ma'am, can we start or?
Yes,
wait?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can we start, ma'am? We can start. We can start, ma'am, please.
Start 4:30.
Hmm.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, Robert, sir,
Yes, yes.
we can start.
Yes, we can start. I'm
Ah,
ready.
thank
Am
you.
I audible?
Yes, very
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
All the best, sir. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
sir.
session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we start, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We proceed, ma'am.
It is not diversities that divide us, but our incapabilities to accept, celebrate, and honor those diversities. Most Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and the patron of this webinar, Dr. N. Panchanathan, sir, the illustrious Registrar and Co-Patron, Professor V. Balakrishnan, sir, esteemed conveners of the webinar, Professor M. Govindan, sir, and Dr. the vibrant organizing secretary, Dr. Shivashakti Rajamal, the ever active organizing joint secretaries and team resource persons, Dr. Robert Kleiser, the leader of today's academic session, August participants and friends. A very delighted good evening to all. It's really joyful to have you here, the fourth day of this academic discourse. Today, we are honored by the presence of a scholarly resource person, Dr. Robert Clive, Associate Professor, Department of Social Sciences, Crossland College, Brahmawar, Udupi, Karnataka, who will enlighten you on the topic Building a Caring and Supportive Learning Community, a Holistic Response to Diversities. As usual, let me remind you once again, post your questions in Q&A section and chat box. For direct interaction, click raise hand option. So, now it's time to move on to the scholastic session. I invite Mrs. Jayashree S., Assistant Professor, NSS Training College, Pandalam, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, eminent scholars, honored guests, various participants, and my dear friends. Good evening to all. As we all know, today is the fourth day of the one-week webinar on honoring student diversities, mechanisms, and practices, carrying out under the auspices of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and IQC NSS Training College, Pandalam. It's a great pleasure indeed for me to welcome you all to this great event. Today we have with us the patron of organizing committee, Professor N. Panchanathan, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, who is the guiding spirit behind this wonderful program. Being a renowned educationist and excellent teacher with more than 3 decades of teaching experience, he is one of the most perceived and persuasive Indian masterminds in academic circles. With all respect, I welcome you, sir, on behalf of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and IQSC NSS Training College, Pandalam, to this wonderful event. I also welcome Professor V. Balakrishnan, sir, Registrar in Charge, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, who is the backbone behind this one-week webinar. I sincerely welcome you, sir. Next, I extend a warm welcome to Professor M. Govindan, sir, Dean Faculty and Head of Department of Educational Psychology, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University. He's a real inspiration for this webinar. Welcome you, sir. Next is our beloved principal, Dr. V.K. Ushadevi, ma'am, our leader and a big motivator who extends a helping hand in all our activities. This seminar has come into a reality only because of the wholehearted guidance and support of our great principal. I sincerely welcome you, ma'am, to this educational session. I also take this opportunity to welcome the organizing secretary, Dr. Shivashakti Rajamal, Assistant Professor, Coordinator, Center for Capacity Building Programs for School Teachers, Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, a highly dedicated teacher who has proved herself in organizing this webinar in the best possible manner. With great pleasure, I welcome you, ma'am, to this session.
Thank you, ma'am.
My dear friend, Dr. Ranjani Devi, Assistant Professor and IQC Coordinator, NSS Training College, Kondalam. Being an organizing secretary of this webinar, put a lot of efforts in making this webinar a fruitful one. So I welcome you, my dear friend Ranjini, to this webinar.
Thank you.
Next, I have to welcome the organizing secretaries, Dr. P. Subramanian, Dr. K. Radhishwari, Dr. S. Balamurugan, all assistant professors from Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, and also Dr. Srivrinda Nair, Dr. Tarais Nair, and Dr. Padmapriya PV, assistant professors from NSS Training College, Kondalam. I welcome you all to this wonderful session. Also with pleasure, I welcome all the committee members from Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University and NSS Training College, Pandalam for all part and parcel of this webinar. Above all, I sincerely welcome with appreciation all the participants across the globe, without whom the program might not have been a fruitful venture. So welcome all the participants for this fourth day of academic session. Today we have an eminent scholar, Dr. Robert Clive G, Associate Professor, Department of Social Sciences, Roseland College, Udupi, Karnataka, to handle the technical session of the fourth day of the one-week webinar. He is an excellent academician and has presented and published several research papers in national and international conferences, and a member of Board of Studies and Board of Examination of Mangalore University, also a member of Board of Examination of PhD, Tiruvallur University, and he has prepared several study materials for distance education courses also. He has proved his work as a center head, DDU, Government of India, and he has done his PhD on NGOs and women empowerment strategies and has undertaken several UGC-sponsored research projects also. He has conducted several training programs for teachers, middle-level managers at various industries, and MSW, FO, and MBA students also on different areas like teaching competencies, soft skills, life skills, etc. Also, he visited more than 45 institutions as a resource person. With great privilege, I welcome Dr. Robert Kleiser, Associate Professor, Roseland College, Karnataka, to handle the technical session of this international webinar. Welcome you, sir. I'm sure all of us will definitely have some takeaways after this interactive session. Definitely, it will be an interactive session, I am sure. And with immense pleasure, I welcome all the participants for this wonderful academic session. Thank you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayashree ma'am. Thank you for your good words. Robert Clive, sir, now you can start.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Anjani, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You're
sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, let me begin. So
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for this great opportunity to virtually meet so many teachers and also to be teachers. And also thanks for the kind introduction by one of your colleagues. And I feel, it's a great honor because I love being with the teachers and students. I don't know how I fit in as an eminent scholar. I don't subscribe to that view. I always introduce myself as a teacher. I love teaching. So therefore today, whatever that I will be sharing, these are some of the insights I've taken from institutions. I just like to correct, or when she introduced, she said I visited 45 institutions. Maybe that's God's blessing. I had visited more than 300 institutions all across the country. And whatever I have received from those children, the students, the teachers, I like to really reflect on them when I am sharing this theme with you. So therefore, once again, I just want to thank everyone who has given me this opportunity, and let's really have a meaningful interaction for the next 1 hour or so. And as she said, there has to be some takeaway. Otherwise, I think I and you will be wasting the time. First of all, I think I must really appreciate, thank, and congratulate the entire organizing team, starting from the Vice Chancellor. When I just listened to him on the first day during the inaugural function, I just, listened to him maybe for about 15 minutes, but he's very impressive. He's so humble, very humorous, but a great visionary. In fact, I think Dr. Shivashakti, you are all very lucky to work under such a Vice Chancellor. very, really, speaking, I was touched by his humility, simplicity, but a vast amount of knowledge and the willingness to really, develop others. That was something visible throughout his very simple speech, very organized. I felt really touched by his speech. And the next person I must really appreciate is Dr. Sivashakti Rajamal for her energy. I think very rarely we find people with such a kind of a powerhouse, where they can take so much of energy. In fact, when she gave me a test call other day, it was around 11:30, and she was even at that point of time full of energy. She was busy doing things. Now, to me, these are the people who can make real difference to others, not only to the institutions, to a large number of people. I'm sure, Dr. Shivashakti, without probably even your
Thank you, sir.
knowledge, you have reached out to a large number of people. Hats off to you. And the next person I must really, really appreciate and thank is Dr. Ranjini, an amazing team leader. I only have had a few phone conversations, but she's crisp, but she wants to get the work done, and she has done it very, very systematically. So it's an amazing talent to really be a team leader. It's not just to really kind of praise people, but I think when we feel like saying something good about people, we should say it. So that's why I'm sharing it in the beginning. So I felt really nice when I really listened to all of you. Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity to work with you all. Now, coming back to my theme for today's sharing is building a caring community. How all the stakeholders, we can come together and make a difference in the lives of our children. And my emphasis is why we need a caring community at this point of time and how we can build it all together. So let me just begin. So I'll just share the presentation. So please, you can just give me a thumbs up if things are coming proper. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I hope I'm audible. Also, my screen is visible, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go. Let me begin. I have just said, this is what actually my theme is today. Building a very caring and supportive learning community, a holistic response to student diversities. Now, there are a few key words here. Caring and supportive learning community. I didn't just simply put it as a community. And I said holistic response, student diversity. So my entire discourse today for the next 1 hour or so, maybe a little more than that, will be just on these three words. A caring and supportive learning community, a holistic response, and student diversity. Let me just begin. Let me begin with a real story. This is a story of Sarah, a student of mine. You can see her there in the uniform with a walker. I still remember she came today also to write her final exam. The university exam started in the college today. I still remember very, very clearly on the first day I met her for the orientation program. She got down from the auto rickshaw and somebody, gave her the walker and just, she just was trying to move. And, some people really were, her mother and the auto rickshaw driver, they're trying to help. But when I just saw that as the entrance of the hall where we are supposed to have the first day orientation program for the freshers, but I was quite surprised and touched. A few students who never met Sarah, on the very first day, her classmates, they rushed to her. And in fact, we didn't have a ramp to reach to our hall on that particular day. They tried to lift her literally, brought her to the entrance of the hall, auditorium where we are supposed to have the meet. And somebody took her walker. They helped her to reach the seat where she can sit. I could see a smile on the face of Sarah. When you're about to begin the program, I approached Sarah. Sarah, will you mind if you are invited to the stage to inaugurate today's program? She said, why not? Once again, a few of the students, her own classmates, all unknown strangers on the very first day, They just went to her rescue and said, Sarah, come on. And they literally, nobody, felt envious, but they are very proudly, happily lifting her to the stage. And there you can see Sarah joining the inauguration program on the first day, 3 years before. And this is another occasion where she wanted to visit the library, which is in the first floor. And some of the students literally lifted her and, took her to the library and said, Sarah, this is our library. And look at the smile on her face. And she became the darling of the college. Every day, everybody would really love to help her, wish her, and always 2 students will be at her disposal at any point of time in order to help her to get down from the auto rickshaw every day and also put her back in the rickshaw. And to me, the story of Sarah is the essence of my sharing today. How we need to be sensitive to the differences, how we can really reach out to them. Now, let me just carry on. The next story is also a real story that touched me. A long back, probably about 15 years before. This is a story of Sabita Moniz. I met her in one of the students' workshop program where she was doing her MSW. And this was a workshop. It was for a full day. I started with a small group discussion. I asked people to assemble in a group. I gave a writing assignment and they were just assembling in group. To my surprise, what I really found, was there was one student who was just pulling another chair and putting in front of another student. And this student puts her leg on that chair. To me, it was a little odd, but I found that this girl held a pen on her toes rather, and she started writing. For the first time, I was really seeing someone directly who can write with their legs. And I was really, quite, kind of amazed and also felt quite, my butterfly feelings were inside. But after some time, when they finished, I went near her. I saw the handwriting so beautiful and I asked, can I take it for my children? My children were very small at that time. She said, why not? It was so beautiful. And I just went through the entire day. I brought her to my college twice on 2 national conferences sponsored by UGC for young people and teachers. And people gave her a standing ovation. The story is that she was born without arms and nobody gave her admission. Her mother was running pillar to post to get admission, but finally one government school headmaster said, come on, I'll give admission. She was admitted. The rest is history. And please believe me, today she's proved herself to be one of the very, very successful person. She's a student welfare officer in one of the colleges near Mangalore, where the total student strength in that campus is close to about 15,000 plus. And I just want to really show you her amazing spirit through this small
सदर
visual.
करते असां Sabita Moniz.
Sabita Moniz, Beltangadi, deformity is no deterrence. Absence of hands was never an impediment to her spirits in competing with the abled. Sabita Moniz, hailing from a remote and rural village in Beltangadi of Dakshina Kannada district, had to walk 1.5 miles for her educational needs. A postgraduate in social work, she works as a student welfare officer at Alvas. The genetic deformity took away her hands, coming in the way of her leading a normal life. Supported by siblings at a tender age, Sabita managed to write using her feet as if it were her hands. Today, she manages almost all her tasks using her feet. Every day, she travels for 20 kilometers to reach her workplace, attending to the whoos and cries of students arriving from different parts of India. Today, Sabita stands as a shining example to those with disability of how it can be converted into ability, that it is not an obstacle to success.
Friends, to me, these 2 live examples are the real examples of not only celebrating diversity, but it's much more than that, where we can really feel honored that as a community, we have really cared for them, we have empowered them. So let me just go. So what does it mean? Differences are part of life. It all matters how, as an environment, we respond to it. Now, let me just share with you a very touching story. This is a story I love to tell. Here you see in my screen a small picture of a leopard. But there's a small difference. I call the name of this leopard is Lily the leopard. Unfortunately or fortunately, this leopard, leopard is called Lily, was born with pink spots. Normally, leopards are born with black spots. And so happens that every day when it goes out, other leopards would really make fun of my Lily, and they would say, "Oh, you look clumsy, you look ugly, you are not like us, you are not a leopard." And the parents also would get worried, but they never discouraged. But at some point of time, Lily was so fed up, it wanted to run away. One evening, without telling the parents, Lily started walking deep into the forest. It kept on walking. Finally, it was so dark, it didn't know where it reached, but there was a small den. My Lily, the leopard, goes into the den and just lie down because it was so tired. But it slept. Early in the morning, when Lily got up, what a surprise, there were a lot of other leopards surrounding, but they're all quite amazingly looking at Lily. And they said, "Where are you from? You look so beautiful." And I've never seen a leopard with such a pink spot. In fact, we are all of different colors, but your color is the most beautiful one. And at that point of time, Lily realized the surrounding leopards, some of them were with purple colors, some with black spots, and some of them with different blue colors, red colors, green colors. And that's the time Lily realized, yes, there can be differences in the colors. And all these leopards were praising and saying, "You're the most beautiful one." And it gained confidence, started walking back and said, "Thank you so much." It reached home finally in the evening. And the parents were so worried and said, "Where are you?" And the Lily was so, kind of emotionally touched and said, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left without telling you." And the parents hugged and cuddled. And finally, this Lily said, "Today onwards, I'm going to be a different Lily. I'm so proud of my pink color because people say I'm so beautiful." Dear friends, this is again something which I would like to say. Beautiful is not something that we call in uniformity, but it is something that we really see in diversity. So diversity is a reality. We need to really accept it and we need to celebrate it. Then only life becomes meaningful. Dear teachers, we have got a tremendous power. Tremendous power. I don't know how many of us have realized. I put a small picture here. Several years before, I still remember a very small incident. One evening, my wife is also a teacher. We both just reached back home, and our neighbor's child was sitting outside their home, quite sad like this, quite upset. And I just asked Abhi, what happened? And Abhi was saying, "Today my teacher did not say bye to me when we left." And the boy felt so sad because the teacher did not say bye to the child. Dear teachers, please understand, you can really make a difference by saying a goodbye to your child or not saying it. So therefore, our words really have a tremendous amount of power. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Can you imagine when children reach the school on the first day? This year is different. Many of the children, the first day has not yet come. But in usual times, on the first day in the school, always what do they really worry about? Missing the parents, and especially if you are in a kindergarten section, the children will be so worried, anxious, and after some time they start crying. Everybody will be, really worried, and they start crying. Here is a small little child you can see. Again, I'm just giving a small narration. I call him Tom. In one of the kindergarten schools, on the first day, all the children were crying, but my Tom was not at all crying. And the teacher was observing. Till afternoon, he was quiet and he was happy. Nothing affected him. And in the evening around 3 o'clock, the teacher was still surprised. She called, Tom, never I have seen a child on the first day not crying. What's the secret, man? And this Tom took his hands and, his fist was covered, folded and said, ma'am, this is the secret. When I left in the morning, my mother said, Tom, many children will cry today, but you are not crying. Show your hands. I'm going to blow 5 kisses. Keep them till the evening. I'm with you. And Tom said, I'm not going to open, ma'am. My mother's kiss is here. She's with me. Dear teachers, this is where I want a caring community. Can we step in where the parents are not available in the schools? Can we step in as a caring mother, father, brother, and sister? And that is what I call as a caring community, not as a teacher of maths, physics, or English, but a caring teacher. Now, the building of a caring learning community begins here. Look at the beautiful statement. Kids can walk around trouble if there is some place to walk to and someone to walk with. Can that someone be a teacher who can walk with? I'm sure all of us can. Maybe a few of my points and insight today will be really telling you how we can really take a walk with these children who needs us. Let me just give you again a small little visual.
Let's turn to tonight's Good News Today story, and it's the story of a brave girl, Anushka Panda. She scored 489 marks out of 500 in the CBSE. You might ask, what's special about that when the topper has scored 499? Well, we'll tell you why Anushka is our Good News Today story.
India Today viewers would remember Anushka Panda. She suffers from spinal muscular. Today, she has good news to share with you. Anushka, a student of Sun City School, Gurugram, has topped Class 10 CBSE exams in the differently abled category. She secured 489 marks out of 500 and scored 97.8%.
इसके पीछे मेरे माता पिता की प्रेरणा है, मेरे परिवार की प्रेरणा है.
Dear friends, to me, Anushka Panda's story is again a success story of how a caring community of teachers, parents can make a difference in the life of a child who cannot even stand. Out of 500 marks, 489 marks. Isn't it amazing story of success? How we really value somebody's diverse background, but we are there to really handhold them. So let's really go. Are we ready to be part of this caring learning community? I don't know. Sometimes I really wonder when I read, sometimes teachers hit the children and they humiliate children. Children commit suicide because teachers humiliate them in front of others. This is what this incident always comes to my mind. It seems at some point of time, there are 3 people in front of heaven's door. And the first person happened to be a doctor. Of course, we call them today COVID warriors, all that. And, the doctor was pleading, he said, I've saved so many lives, so you have to let me in, no questions. But God said, I'm sorry. The number of people have saved, so many people don't know how many people you have killed. So you are put on waiting list. Doctor was surprised and shocked. And the second one happened to be a priest or a sadhu or a sannyasi. And he also said, I have really helped so many people. So you have to let me in automatically. But God said, I'm sorry. The other side of your life, only I know. You're also put on the waiting list. And the third one was a small child. Probably you would have just finished about 4th or 5th standard. God did not ask any question. God said, please come inside. You are welcome to heaven. And these 2 people were too annoyed. And they said, he is a bacha, a small boy. How can you do that? And God said, you know something? For the last 4 or 5 years, this boy has been in a hell. Now he deserves heaven. I may look a little cynical, but dear teachers, let us reflect today. Have we really created a heaven in the school premises, or have we created a hell in our premises? The choice is ours. So let's really now go on. This person is one of the most amazing teachers in the history we have seen, Helen Keller. How she really made a difference. And these are some of the words I just love to really repeat. But one word that touches me is that I will not refuse to do something I can do because I can do something. We may not be able to change the world, but I can change the life of a child. Let's go. How many of us will be happy to be in our own classrooms? If you think you are a caring teacher who can touch a life of a child, not teaching a subject, please. Today, my entire discourse is not on that. If you really feel happy that you will be happy to be in your own classroom, please pat at your back wherever you are. And I just like to honor those teachers. Now, teachers, we are not in charge of our students, but we need to take care of those in our care. So here, caring is the core of teaching, learning. That is the point that I try to really repeatedly say today. So students learn best when they feel welcomed, comfortable, and safe. Are we able to provide that? Let's really see. To me, teachers can make a difference, a big difference. Many live examples. I'm sure many of you would have really encountered on Teachers' Day. My wife is also a teacher. So throughout the day, she's saying, my God, I was counting and counting today, so many hours I just spent on the WhatsApp. And usually she had hundreds of students who had wished. And at 11:30 at night, one doctor, he said, as a teacher, I was so busy in a COVID ward. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to wish you, only now I just saw all the WhatsApp messages at 11:30 at night on 5th of September. So when you make a difference, please remember, children will remember us. Behind every successful person is a caring teacher. Let's be that caring teacher. But unfortunately, what happens is that when we approach a school or a class or a child, there is a tragedy. We try to really understand a child from our own perspective, just like this blind man trying to understand an elephant. They may just see from their point of view, their perception. Somebody may say it's like a big wall, it's like a tree, it's like a pillar, or it's like a rope, depending on the place where they touch. Teachers, let us not be that narrow-minded. Let's see the child as a whole person. That's why I said a holistic response. Let's see, in fact, to the doctor, the child is a patient. In the playground, for the physical education teacher, probably he's just one of the players. And to the teacher in his class, he's a student in the maths class. And most of the time, we don't see the child as a whole child. And this is taken out from a report. Now let's really see, can we move on from that and provide a holistic education? And holistic education really refers to, as Maslow said, reaching that height of motivation, real self-actualization, bringing the best out of the children. What is their strength? Reach out to them, bring out the best in them. Please don't clone them. Do not really bring a robot out of every child. Let us bring the best human in them. And let's really move on. I just want to have a small poll at this point of time. So I'm just going to post a small link. There is only one question. It comes to your chat box. Okay. Where is chat box? No.
Sir?
No. Yeah. 1 minute. I'm just looking. My chat box is here. Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah. Yes, please. Yes.
It did not visible, sir.
It's not visible.
Yes, because you shared the screen now.
Okay, so I'll have to stop sharing, then move on to the. Is that fine? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm sorry. So I'm just pasting. Is there a link available? Can you see in the chat box?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is available.
Yeah. So yes. Now I request it will take 10 seconds. Please go to the chat. The chat box. Click on the link. You'll be taken to one question. It takes hardly 5 to 10 seconds.
Student diversity quiz.
Yes, exactly. There are two questions, right? Two questions.
Yes, there are two questions. We take a serious efforts to identify the diversities among our students, number one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Second one is we celebrate the diversity of students in our institutions.
Yes, sir. Yes. So 2 people have responded.
Yeah.
So it's coming. I'll give you about 10 seconds. So I hope people are able to access my link, right?
Sir, can you post it once again?
Yes. Yeah. Please.
The participants are saying no link.
No link. Yes. I have posted it again. Yeah. I hope Ranjini, you can see that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's visible.
Let them take a few seconds. So we'll take about another 10 seconds perhaps. So this also could be an indicator whether people are tuned to me or people are just keeping it on.
Yeah, they're saying it's now received.
Oh, okay. Let them take the time. No issues. There are only 2 questions, but hardly to take 5 seconds. Yeah. Now the number is increasing, so I think we will give a little time for them.
No, that is because Mr. Robert, you shared only with the panelist, and I have copied pasted to the attendees also. That's the reason.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So we need some people like this to be carrying with the technology also. Thanks, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. So now 62 people, have responded. 65, the number keeps on increasing. If I can just give you the perspective out of 70, it's about 90% of the people saying that, yes, there's a serious effort to identify the diversity among the students. And again, 90% of people saying that we celebrate the diversity of students in our
Many participants ask UTIP also.
Okay.
Participants.
Okay, I'm not on that. It doesn't matter, but I just want to really understand the pulse of the audience. It's okay. If you can do that. But I think I shouldn't waste people's time. Let me just move on. I'll come back to the screen sharing. So now my screen is
yes, sir.
Visible, right? Okay. Now, if you just want to see, this is a percentage. Can you see the percentage here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So out of 107 participant responses, 92% saying that, yes, there is a serious effort to identify the diversities, and 86% saying that we celebrate the diversity of students. Participants, I'm so proud of my audience that a vast majority, in fact, close to 90% saying that we are with a diverse background students. Now, I think that takes us to the next slide. Let me share now the next slide. So I think I'll have to move on. This slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So somewhere, when I spoke about, I'm trying to really move on with the kind of flow that I just started saying, how we need to really celebrate diversity. Look at the picture. I'm sure it's a very familiar picture if you are in the field of education, where, someone asking all the animals to come for a competition and saying that you all have to fly. But that looks so stupid and funny, but that is exactly what is happening. It's something like this. If we can visualize, which is very dangerous, we go to a doctor's, different people come to the same doctor, and this doctor, almost all the patients saying that you have this disease, take this medicine and take this test. To all the patients, I'm sure there will be so many deaths after some time. Or suppose we go to a ophthalmologist, a eye specialist, and we try different things. I'm saying the doctor, I can't see. No. He says, come on. Finally, he takes his specs and says, come on, you try with this. And again, I'm saying, doctor, I cannot see it. And the doctor is saying, come on, man, for the last 10 years, I'm able to see this with this specs. How can you say that you cannot see it? Come on, you try. This is exactly what we are trying with the children who are from diverse backgrounds. We are not able to distinguish what are their strengths and what are their diversity. So I think there is a danger with this common education system. I'm sure all of us must have gone through this, beautiful story of animal schools. So just like the humans, the animals wanted to have a school. So they, frame a BOS, Board of Studies, and there's a curriculum and the mode of examinations, everything. Finally, it is all over. They completed 6 months of the course. The exam date came. And, these are all the animals that you're seeing. Probably I'll give the example here. 3 animals. There was a crow, there was a rabbit, and there was a fish. And for the fish, the first test, they said, come on, we know you're a good, swimmer. And you please come out. You have to now start running. Somebody's making a noise. Please, you can mute, please.
Dr. Sushila, kindly mute yourself, please.
Okay. So the fish comes out. Even before it came out, it went into the water because fish cannot live outside the water. So they marked 0. Fish failed in the exam. And the next one happened to be the crow. They said, crow, come on, we all know that you're a flyer. Now you have to get into the water and swim. Crow went into the water and started swimming, but come on, it again was about to die. They said, you failed. The last one is rabbit. They gave the test to the rabbit. Rabbit, we know you can run. Come on, now you have to fly. Rabbit was about to take off, but it fell down, broke the left, leg, and it was really handicapped for life. And the rabbit also was marked as failed. Now the school was closed because they could not really make anyone succeed. Somewhere I feel when we really glorify this uniformity, we really neglect diversity. But let's understand, uniformity is not just, the nature's way. It is the diversity which is nature's way. Look at the beautiful flowers. How beautiful it looks on your screen if you are able to visualize it. I love these colors. I look at the flowers. Look at the animals and the birds. Actually, God created so much of diversity in nature to appreciate and celebrate. In the same way, people are different from different countries, different languages, cultures, races. Look at the teacher who really hugs all the children. Can we not be that teacher in that place? We can be. What is the opposite of diversity? The sameness, similarity, uniforms, my God. Come on, let's move out of that comfort zone. Let's move into a caring, supportive learning community. Now, what happens in a usual uniform community? There is a formal system, syllabus, exam. There are schools today where people experiment with this diversity. There are some beautiful, wonderful films where children are given freedom to explore what they want and they excel in life. And normally in our schools, there is very less scope for encouraging diversity. There is exclusion. You are weak in studies, they are all put in one section. You are all brilliant children, your class A section. Come on, when are we going to stop this? And children who come to school from dramatically unequal circumstances, when they leave after many years, they leave with the same way, in the unequal way, because we did not appreciate the diversity, but rather we glorified uniformity, weak students, and we actually separated them, secluded them. Many studies have proved that more innovations happen where there is a diversity. Look at the big organizations, even in US, be it Google, Microsoft, IBM, many of them, you can see about almost close to 50% of them are from different countries. In fact, my son is in US and he's doing his MS, and he says that university is on the top because of diversity. So many countries are represented. Now, when are we moving to that goal where we really appreciate and celebrate diversity? Business houses are moving. Why not we educationists? Look at the advertisement of Panasonic. We are stronger together, but diverse faces from different countries. They believe in inclusion, and they say that's where innovation takes place. Let's move from uniformity to diversity. And I'm sure all of you would appreciate and connect to a recent advertisement where in TV now you won't find Fair and Lovely, you'll find Glow and Lovely, because people went to the court saying that, come on, suppose, if you've seen me on the video, even if I have tried, I'm 54 now, all the 54 years, my color wouldn't have changed. Then how can you say I'll become fair by applying Fair and Lovely or Fair and Handsome, whatever it is? And why this concept of Fair and Lovely? Because we want to move towards the fair skin. What about the dark skin? They are not God's children, or am I not God's child? So therefore, let's not really glorify. People went to the court and now they're saying there is a problem. The company has accepted. They changed the wording from fair to glow and lovely. And she is, a very bold person, Nandita Das. She's given some wonderful performances. And she's started an organization called Leapfrog, and where she says dark is beautiful. Can we see that in our students also? So it is based on the principle that differences are appreciated, acknowledged, and there comes the quality. Look at that, only when there is diversity, it looks something different, beautiful. So let's really now move on to the next part. Let's not blame the, kind of diversity. Let's not blame the children. When a flower doesn't bloom, you don't try to really, fix the flower. There's a problem in the environment. So in the same way, let's not fix the kids, fix the environment. That is we, teachers, parents, the community. A great teacher, all of us can be that, takes a hand, opens the mind and touches the heart. Teachers today, teachers for maybe a few more minutes when I share a few insights, I want you to be a teachers from the heart, not from the mind, or probably not from the head. I just like to give you a small example. Once a father was taking his little daughter for a walk. They're moving towards a forest, and it was really quite a silent place, no proper roads. At one point of time, they had to cross a small river, but there was only a small wooden bridge or a plank. And father said, come on, my dear, you have to hold my hands now. We're going to cross the river. We have to be, crossing it safely. Hold my hands. The little girl said, no, dad. What do you mean by no, dad? I'm saying it's very serious. We have to hold my hands. Then the girl said, Dad, I'm not denying that. Please hold my hands. And dad was surprised. What does it mean? Both are same. Me holding your hands, you holding my hands. It makes no difference. The little girl said, no, dad, it makes a big difference. You know something? When I hold your hands, sometimes I may slip and fall. I may even die. But I'm 100% sure that when you hold my hand, you will not let me go. At any cost, you will say me, please hold my hands. The dad was so touched. Teachers, can we handhold our children, take them forward, understand their problems, and try to help them? So teaching is not subject. In fact, if there is an award on the best teachers, I would say it has to go to the most caring teacher, because if at all I ask you, A teacher whom you will still remember after many years, not the teacher who spoke the best of English, but the teacher who touched your heart. So I'll always say teaching is not just, kind of 9 to 5. If you are not ready for a 24 hours job on 7 days, I don't think we fit into that. We become accidental teachers, creating accidents. Believe me, I have got calls even at night, 8:30, saying that, sir, you won't see me tomorrow. And things have happened in such a way that, I have to really put in an emergency system to save that child. So teaching a teacher is not just about inside the classroom. Let us go beyond. We are having a 24 hours duty. We have to give. Look at this jackfruit tree. Beautiful, no? It doesn't have leaves. It says with a board, I lost everything, but I have not forgotten giving. Teachers, that is the spirit of this caring and giving. There's a scientific proof. This professor name is Professor Adam Grant. He's a Wharton School professor. He's very popular at, the age of 36, 37. He is rated as among one of the top 25 thinkers in the world. Please read his book. He has written many books, Give and Take. And he has studied more than about 200 people who have been very successful in life. And he has come to conclusion there are 3 categories of people: takers, matchers, givers. He says takers are very easy. Come on, these are the people like parasites. Taking. And these are the people who never ever recharge their phones, depend on only incoming calls. They never call anyone. And matchers, okay, I give you today the something. Teacher, I take this class today, but can you take my class tomorrow? They are matchers. But givers are the people. Teacher, don't worry. You have a problem. Please, first you take a ride for a program in one of the colleges. I was with the principal, we are discussing. Suddenly he received a call, and he just, from somebody's house, because the concerned teacher was not able to be reached. Then the teacher was called. Then he called the teacher and said, excuse me, I got a message from your home. Your mother has fallen, down in the bathroom. You need to go. And the teacher was, quite a kind of annoyed and, disturbed. Then he called the teacher, excuse me, do you need some money? These are the givers. Then the teacher said, sir, I have the program. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. Givers are the people, don't expect anything, but they give from the heart. So therefore, teachers, if you're ready to give, please understand there is no competition in this world. We will always be remembered for that. Now I want to ask a question. Are we a teacher by choice? I don't know. What is the opposite of that? There are teachers who become teachers accidentally. As I said, they create accidents in the life of children. They never touch the lives. They teach subjects. But today, my real earnest appeal is let's be really the teachers by choice. Do you love your job? Is it the Monday, not the COVID times, not on Monday or Saturday, which is the one which you really like? In fact, people say largest number of heart attacks take place on Monday morning between 9 to 10. You know why? People are stressed about going to work. Do you love to go to the school or a college to be a teacher? Again, pat at your back. You have to wear so many hats, not just the subject expert. A person by name Alfie Kohn has written a book in 1996, a very bold one, Beyond Discipline, from Complaints to Community. He says, please, teachers, abandon these discipline systems. Please make schools a caring community. And long back, John Dewey said, each public school, mind you, the government schools I'm talking about, should become a complete community, a model home. Are we really making that? Please let us reflect. Look at this beautiful statement. Let us reform our schools and we shall find little reform needed in our prisons. Probably if there are more people in the prisons, there is something wrong with our schools. But today, the unfortunate thing is for our digital natives, the public schools are like jails. We put, with a lot of security guard, CCTV cameras, my God, high security, beautiful. But that is not what our children want. In spite of that, do you remember last year there was a case of a murder of a KG child by a class 11 student in Delhi, simply because he wanted the exam to be postponed next day. So teachers, whatever is the safety and security, children consider that as jails, nothing more than that. So what is this, caring learning community? Simply this, I'm not just reading it out. Probably I can share this PPT and, even the organizers can share it with you. Simply where the children and adults, we all get engaged in a beautiful, positive, warm relationship. As I said, hand holding, there is respect. It's all done together. It's not just students and teachers. Students, teachers, between colleagues, teachers and parents and a wider community. It could be a psychiatrist, a counselor, somebody else, a social worker, all that. But my encounter today with you will be, please let us develop this quality called empathy. Now, a culture of caring is not just a philosophy, but it has to be an inclusive environment. And if you see, if there is that caring, all these things will be there, kindness, helpfulness. So the key here is relationships, not the classrooms, desks and benches. And this community consists of teachers, my own friends in the school or college, my students, parents, members in the public, all together. That's why I said a learning community. What is this learning community? What do they do? What they don't do? They first touch upon the psychological needs of that child. Love, the need of belonging. How many children today come from the, homes where the parents are separated, the emotional turmoil, the pain that they go through. And let's not put them down. And they, say, relaxed state of mind. Children learn the best. Can a child say, my class is like my family, I love to come to school and they are helpful, I love to talk to my teachers. Dear teachers, let's put our hands together. Synergy is not 2 plus 2 is 4 or 1 plus 1 is 2. It is much more than that. Amplification comes when we work as a team, just like this organizing team, perhaps one of the best teams that I've seen. Please, teacher, the best teacher which you have ever seen, I said, now if we can recollect, the teacher would be someone who touched your heart. So let's try to now make an attempt to be that teacher. I think I can just give you a small example here.
What happened, Edwin?
I'm really very tired. Really.
Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Strong. You're welcome. You can treat me when you're successful.
it's time for dinner.
I'm sure some of you would have had this lovely experience of meeting your old students who come back and say, thank you, teacher, for that caring day. So let's now really. Okay. So as I said, a teacher has to be a 24-hour teacher. I'm sorry. I just want to now take you forward. A caring learning community is not just a necessity today, but it's an emergency. That's why you and me, we are now sitting and discussing. But how we can do that, that's the next part of it. Please understand a few points I would like to build upon me for the next 5 minutes, why we need to really transform from the present situation to a caring learning community. Don't you think there are thousands of schools in India where every school or every college is vying with getting into the India Today ranking, educational world ranking, or some ranking or other? We want to be on the top. Then we put a big newspaper advertisement saying that our students packed all these ranks. For a school, the identity is narrowed down to that ranking by the media or that ranking by the student in an exam. Do you think that's the greatest contribution a school or a college can do? I think not. So this is one of the misguided way of approach to the quality of approaching diversity. And we created a rat race in the name of this quality. What is this rat race? Look at what's happening around. In fact, this is a very interesting illustration I would like to share. Once a man sets up a very hi-fi, poultry farm, and he creates a very excellent infrastructure, building, and air conditioner, music, water system, everything. But he tells the chicken, come on, listen to me, the only condition is all of you have to give me 7 eggs per week. The first week all the chickens give 7 eggs except one, and he scolds and said, come on, you're given only 4. Next week, if I don't get 3 more, I'll throw you out, and that biryani fellow will come and cut you and you'll be killed. And this chicken was really scared. And next week again, he comes and counts, it is really only 4. And he says, come on, now I'm going to throw you out. Then the chicken pleads, come on, sir, please understand. Those chickens are hens. They can lay eggs, but I am really not a hen, a cock. But I tried my level best to give. I could give 4. Please don't force me. Teachers and parents, is it the way that we really create a rat race and put the pressure on children? I'm sure you would really understand how this child felt in that Tare Saminpur film. How you made to really almost go to a turmoil in life when a caring teacher comes into his life. And please understand the statistics. In India, one student commits suicide every 55 minutes. Just about 2 days before, I'm just giving, all these statistics. We are aware, including in IITs, children commit suicide, with a lot of competition they get into IITs. Roughly about 12 to 13 lakh children take JEE main exam. Finally, close to about 30 to 40,000 children get into IITs and NITs. And what about the remaining? We consider them as useless. But that's where I'm talking about. Please, diversity is important, not this. And here is a student cannot face the rat race, and she was trying to live stream her own suicide. Now these are things which are happening common. I have put a picture down just about a few days before in Tamil Nadu. We saw how just on the day before the NEET exam, students committed suicide. A student wrote a 7-page letter to the father and said, I'm sorry, I cannot meet your expectation. It's not the parents, but I'm talking about the entire community. We are all responsible for that. And these are the coaching institutions, rat race, run, 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 run. Otherwise, you are not worth of it. So this is a kind of, in fact, whether in the films or in real life, we see we need to take, or we need to become sensitive about these issues. And look at this one, it is going to explode. We are sitting on a bomb. By 2030, depression will be a #1 mental health issue. What is more revealing, a study by Nieman says children have become now addicted to video games and they are becoming slowly to depression. In fact, there is a shut clinic today exclusively for children in Immense. There are hundreds of children who are now walking into really, to get addressed for their emotional issues. During the last 4 months, I was attending a program by Nimmans, and the professor was saying they received 4 lakh distress calls, 4 lakh calls, and majority of them from young group. And let's be aware of the children who are not in the schools now. And they say it takes 21 days to form a habit and 66 days to make it a new habit totally. Our children are at home for 6 months now. I'm sure they would have now formed many new habits. And one of the things that they are going through is severe amount of anxiety and real amount of stress. So this is a Time magazine cover page where our youngsters go through anxiety, depression, which is something that I want us to really think about more than our subject. And in fact, this is one of the screen I'm sharing, which is just taken plainly from university screen. There's something called depression screening on the very first day in one of the top universities in the US. What they do is they found almost 12% of the students, were, depression positive. So they first treat them, then they allow them to enter the class. So let's be aware of the emotional turmoil our children go through. Let's not create this rat race. We are there to collaborate, not compete. Let's not create that in the classrooms, in the schools. And the parent side, I said, they are also part of this beautiful community. There's too much of parenting, dropping them, picking them up. And we call them as helicopter parents. Parents, let's really become conscious of the danger in that. And then some people say, I'm having only one child, so I give all my love. And they lead to all kind of the other issues. And we want children to be the super, heroes. We want them to fly. These are too much of expectation from the community, and we are all too busy. Look at the kind of pictures that I am showing now. We are busy people, and look at one mother. My God, picking a child from a dustbin. I think parents are too busy, where we really have forgotten about the primary responsibility of caring for our children. And this is a style of our families today. And there is a lot of issues within the family, and children carry all that burden into the classes and the schools. And there is emotional pain, which very often not explicit, but most often it is there inside the children. And mental health is going to be the next global crisis. Please, teachers, let's be aware of that. And children who are into the social media, please, they'll be on the Facebook, but when they come to the school, they are not able to communicate, share their feelings, and that caring is missing. And do you remember when this was at the peak of that blue whale, or now PUBG, which is banned? How children, I have seen in my own life skill classes, children coming and sharing and crying, saying that I cut my veins. There was a girl who told me in 6 months, 6 times she's cut her veins because parents refused to, have her say in social media. And these are the emotionally disturbed children. There are a lot of things that you can see. You can always find a kind of artificial self. They are not able to even smile. There's a tremendous amount of stress. Let's understand this. So why I am talking about reaching out through a caring approach, caring community, because of this issue. Now, this generation Alpha, which many of you teachers were teaching in the lower classes, were born after 2010. Children who were born somewhere after 2000, they are called Generation Z. But generation alpha is what they are coming to. The smaller class is totally different. Digital natives they are. And there is a digital divide between them and us. And that diversity also we need to understand. Look at the kind of their lifestyle. And there comes an important thing. In fact, this is one of the India Today cover pages. Casual sex, net addiction, known parties. Several surveys say that children are into pornography, children are into drinking, they are into drugs. My God, who will help them? Let's really, somewhere, if you look at this cartoon, we have failed. We teach subjects, but somewhere we have failed to teach them life skills. So I'll just take this at the end. Teachers, now I'm coming to the last part. How can we transform ourselves from the teachers of subject to teaching students? This is a small picture I took from a news item that came day before, rather yesterday. A child in Mangalore, she could write with both hands. Not that probably only this child, there could be many. How many of us would understand, my God, such a diversity exists? Yes. If I ask you right now, how many of you, if you are a right-handed person, I do ask that in my workshop, how many of you can write your name legibly with your left hand? Most often, no. Then I say, this is a difficulty. Let's really empathize with other children. They cannot write with their right hand in the same way we cannot write with the left hand. So let's understand, let's be really the teachers who can understand diversity. Let's try to transform. Somebody's drawing something on the screen, please. Yeah. So it's a teacher who makes the difference, not the classroom. So I now request, maybe the next 5 minutes I take on, we need a paradigm shift. A change from the classroom that we had imagined as a teachers to a paradigm shift as a caring teacher who reach out to the heart. I always say a best teacher is someone who has a heart, and the student has a heart, and the connection is from the heart of the teacher to the heart of the student. Real learning takes place from there. But most of us, the biggest obstacle is our own habits. You form that habit, we need to break it. I always ask in my workshops to the teachers, when was the last time you did something for the first time? I repeat, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Many of us, and today if I ask you, sir, just last week, I attended a webinar using Microsoft Teams. Now I know how to operate Microsoft Teams. Somebody may say, something totally new, go to webinar. I did for the first time a webinar on that. Now that means we are learning, we are changing. Even with the textile company has changed. When they found people could not have a pocket, they introduced pocket in the dhotis. That is the change. Let's not resist change. Then we will go extinct like an ambassador car. It was mighty car once, used even by the ministers. But today it is nowhere there because it refused to change. Just like I say, like barnacles, in the ships, when they are in the shore for a long time, these barnacles come and really stay in the ship. After some time, because of the weight, they sink into the sea, even though the ship is very strong. Let us not sink. Let us be ready for a change. Teachers, change is the mantra. Let's really keep our minds like a parachute. We need to accept this generation. Let's go for this. Otherwise, like this. So I just want you to just see this again. We may change the environment, hi-fi school, but our mindset may remain the same. So let's really be ready for a change now. Children need this. Even for a LKG child now, online class. Look at the kind of environment where our children are today. Let's prepare for this VUCA world post-coronavirus. This is very volatile, uncertain. There is ambiguity. We are not clear about what's going on. Children are scared. Let us reach out to them. Just like this teacher in the village, the school was closed. So he kept a speaker, old type of speaker. He started broadcasting. See, that is really caring. Look at another teacher. He didn't have a network, so he wanted to reach out the students. The best network was available near West Bengal, near Calcutta. He went on to a tree and he started talking to the children because the network was available. He was even carrying the food from there, reaching out to all the children. When we change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Dear teachers, students are crying out there. They are saying, trust us, teach us, talk to us. Now we are just going. Our classrooms, in the caring classrooms, we'll have all this. We are a team, but we respect each other. What is a school environment? Is this building? Please understand, it is no. Is it the CCTV camera and the best of the furniture? To me, no. Is it the best of the uniform and the chambers for the teachers? I'm saying no. Then what is this real positive climate environment? When you enter that, there should be a positive energy flowing. Teacher saying, come on, my dear child, with a smile, good morning. Come on, welcome back. These are the positive statements that we make. I call it creating an emotional infrastructure. Teachers, not the physical infrastructure where we are able to really feel safe emotionally. We are loud, we are safe there, we are respected there. There's a sense of belonging. Look at the small chicks. We love to be there. And you should have an energy, just like as I said, Dr. Rajamal, the kind of energy, when you enter, you love, people love to talk to you. Look at this energy level. Teachers have to really connect to children this way. This is a book I request you to read. Dr. Stephen Covey, he passed away, but he is considered to be one of the greatest writers in principles and leadership. And his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, it was implemented in a school in US based on the experience. He wrote this book, The Leader in Me. Every child was involved in the process of caring for each other. Let us create that kind of a community in every school. And in a positive school environment, all this will exist. We are fair, we are helpful, we are caring. We are not scared. We feel valued. Nobody will bully us. Nobody will tease us. Nobody will put us down. Teachers, let us have this empathy. Now, this is one important thing I request all the teachers, please, if you're not able to, don't say, I understand what you feel. When we see now this COVID case all across, somebody is affected, somebody died. For us, it's just a number, 89,000, 90,000. But people who lost them, it is a feeling. And that is empathy. What is it? I think there is a problem, but you can just see. There is little problem with probably the network, I'm not sure. But this is a beautiful scene where a child is hungry, but all other children share. Now, this is to me the level of empathy. When somebody is in pain, we say, not only I understand, I feel what you feel. And this is one of the best examples I would like to give from the business community point of view. You've seen him, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, a person from India, but he's a US citizen now, but on the top of the world. And when his child was born, he had a disability. He says, he has written a book, Hit Refresh. He says, I learned about empathy when my child was disabled. I tried to transform my organization, my community, to really feel what I can really do for others, because I could see the pain, what my son was going through. So this is what every teacher needs to understand. Please, as I said, I know how exactly how you feel. And I always tell this beautiful story. Once a small boy goes to a puppy store, there are a lot of puppies for sale, and it's all very expensive. This boy had only about 100 rupees. He couldn't find anything for that price. He's coming out sadly. The owner is asking him, my dear, you're not buying. The boy says, sorry, sir. At that time, a small puppy is limping and coming very close to this boy. And the boy is so excited, sir, can I buy it? Because it is only 100 rupees. The man started shouting, can't you see? It is limping. Its legs is damaged. How will it take care? Then the boy lifts up the pants and says, sir, I lost my right leg in an accident. They fixed an artificial leg. Now I know how to really take care of this puppy because I also don't have a leg. That is exactly. I'm not saying we don't have to have a leg to understand a child who doesn't have a leg, but we need to really feel what the other person is feeling. That is what is empathy. And I'm sure this is another small connecting point that I would like to share. Look at, the sharing, caring takes place not because you have it, just because you feel it. Great friends, I just like to now take you through maybe a few more aspects how we can really make it a caring community. Children feel safe. I've heard, I also do a bit of counseling in the college, but there have been, at least several children who have come and shared with me who were abused by their own teachers in the playground, their own relatives at home when parents were away. Can we create that safe environment for our kids? Can we respect them? They are younger by age, but it doesn't mean that we can really belittle them and humiliate them. That shouldn't happen. And in fact, one of the most important things is a connection. This is one small experiment done by a group of psychologists called Rat Park Experiment. So what they did was they provided, to the rats, they put them in cages. They provided water in a bottle, and in another bottle, they put, a little drug mixed with water. And the rats tried that drug, they liked it, and they started using more. They became addicts. Slowly, they become very somber and lazy. They're not doing anything. And little later, they put all the rats in one place, and they put similarly the drugs, with water, and also water separately. To their surprise, they found when the rats were together, they're playing and they're enjoying, they never turn to the drug side. They're always enjoying the water and they're enjoying the playing. They came to the conclusion saying that connections make a big difference in terms of addictions and problems. So let us really interpret and apply it in your places. This person, he was with Google, and his official designation, interestingly, is Jolly Good Fellow. And he retired in 2015. His happiness mantra, he says, once in a while I get up from my place, go and stand near a person. For 10 seconds, I say, come on, God, please give this person something nice. Let him have a nice day today. And that makes me really a happy person for the next few hours. Can you do that? Let's try to make at least 3 people smile each day, teachers, wherever we are. And the next part is the trust. Can we create that trust between children? Please don't mistrust them. You will never trust them. And I always tell this small little example where, your flight was taking off and it was moving through. And maybe when, at some point of time, there was some turbulence. So the flight attendant said, come on, all of you, put on the seat belt. And we are going through a turbulence. There is a tremendous weather outside, terrible weather outside. All the people were so anxious and scared. But this little girl was totally undisturbed. She was reading something. And after about a few minutes, things went normal and the flight landed safely. People were getting down. The man sitting next to this girl asked this little girl, my dear, what happened? We're all disturbed, scared. You're so cool and calm. How is it possible? Then the little girl said, sir, the pilot in this airplane is my dad. I know for sure whatever happens, he'll take me safe. That's why I was so unconcerned. Now let us really create that atmosphere of trust in the schools between teachers and students. So let's not really share what the students tell us with other teachers and creates problems with children. Confidentiality is important. In a caring community, we don't breach trust. Then let us reach out to them by telling our own stories. Please be beautiful storytellers. I'm not saying you tell all secrets. No, share something, touch their hearts, and they start sharing. Then the next part is help them to know themselves. And I always give this little example of where, when a chicken hatches eggs, unfortunately, there was also a, egg of an eagle, and they all get hatched. The chicks come out, the eaglet also comes out, and they all go beyond, behind the chicken. At some point of time when they grow up, they feel very confident. One day they look up, there is a big, bird flying. Then this eagle is saying, come on, there is a big bird. Then the chickens, saying, shut up. We call that the king of birds. We call it eagle. And that's the last day the eagle looked up. Just like the chickens, the eagle also died one day, never flew in its life. Teachers, we need to really make children understand they are eagles if they have the abilities. And listen, help them to understand their strengths and their real self, as Carl Rogers calls the real congruent self. That takes a lot of effort. So this is what I call self-awareness, one aspect of a caring teacher, helping a child to really understand who he is. Tell them they are very unique, diamonds. In fact, when I asked one child, what do you think when, leave the school, somebody will remember, then he immediately said, sir, they will say that we are going to miss a diamond. A very great concept of self-esteem. Let's help them to come out of this fixed mindset, a growth mindset. There are plenty of things that they can do. Only, the people with a growth mindset, they can develop. Others, they get stuck and blunted. Let us develop that in our children. And now the next part is that there is a lot of resiliency which is lacking. Children crumble under pressure. Now, what is this resilience? On September 11th, 2001, when the US Twin Towers collapsed, how people came back, or in Kerala, when the floods shook the nation's conscience, how people came back, or now, people, how they are coming out. That's resilience. Let's really try people to come out of that and help them to become the real themselves. So just skipping this. And here, I just like us to understand, this is very important. Helping the children to develop their psychological capital. That's a caring community. Come on, have hope. We will come out of this COVID. There is a life after that. We're not all going to die. In fact, some children ask the teachers in the beginning of online classes, just teacher, will we also die? See, that's a concern. Create that psychological capital of giving optimism and hope. So this is a concept, many psychologists speak, positive psychologists speak about. Let us create that in our environment. And I love the statement. Please, we don't have to go statement by statement. Let us prepare children for a surfing, not a tightrope walk with a lot of fear. Let's give them that confidence. And I love this book again. Please Give them the other options. It's a book which talks about a personal life story of Cheryl, a person who is a top rated official in Facebook, but she tells her story. But I'm saying to our children, we need to tell them, if it's not A, B also is okay. Appreciate the children. A caring community never puts a child down. Say, come on, you did a good work. Okay, you have done this one. Maybe this one you can do better next time. All of us is, when somebody appreciates me, I love really to get to that word. Not that I know I have limitations. There are much better speakers than me. But still, when somebody appreciates, I love to hear that. So all of us really go through that. And this is statement again, I love. Please don't be on the stage. Do not really, I think, yeah. So I'm just aware. I'll just take probably the last 5 more minutes or so with a few other slides. So one thing is, I'm trying to really see how teachers need to really understand being on the side of the children to really go through what we need to help them. And when we have a high expectation from children, definitely, we really can help them. We create a high expectation and, excuse me. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Okay. I'm sorry. So I think I'll just, almost coming to the last part of it. Now, I was just saying, if you keep a very low standard, children just reach there. But when you keep a high expectation, that again is really motivating a kid. Now, this is what it's called a Pygmalion effect. In fact, the previous slide I said, they did an experiment with the ordinary intelligent children. When the experimenters said, teachers, these children belong to the very high IQ side. And the teachers treated them like high IQ children. They found that the performance was excellent. So that's what we say. When you have a higher expectation, definitely that leads to a positive result. Then please listen to children. In fact, I always tell teachers, there is no competition for listeners because there are very less listeners. Most of us are speakers. Have patience with children. They have a lot of issues. We need to sit and listen to them and tell them worry doesn't solve problems. And this is one small thing, please, all the teachers, one takeaway is, we teach children about the first aid. When you fall down, what do you do? When a snake bites, what do you do? But when you are really stressed out, what do you do? How do you handle your emotions? We don't teach. Let us teach the children the mental health first aid. Every teacher needs to be aware of that. Now the last part, my concluding part. What can others in the caring learning community do? I was now focusing more on the teachers. Maybe I'll take the last 5 minutes. I think, Dr. Anjani, I think fine, I have a few 5 minutes. Yeah?
Sir, take your own time, no problem.
Okay. I know I need to take my own time, but I'm just coming to the close part of it. So since I said, my overall view of this theme is, it is not just the students and the teachers. It is the parents. It is actually the community outside. It's my own colleagues. All the people together, we can make a difference to the child's life. So let me see what we can do for the children, to the children as a community. The first one is our networking with the colleagues. See, most often what do we do is, the worst part is that we do politicking. We speak about the principal. Oh, come on, as a vice principal or head of the department, we have a lot of issues. Then if there is nothing, we speak about the children's, that boy and this girl, and we really gossip a lot. But if you want to grow, let's not do that. Let's do this. Have a great discussion. Please go with only the mature teachers who can be better than you. And build that confidentiality. Share something about a student, not to degrade that child, but to get a better insight. Get some insight from the physical education director. How is a child behaving in the ground? I'm sure in the CBSE schools, there is something called the life skills assessment. They do assess. Ask the counselors, what is the emotional status of that child? And when you get all this input, in fact, I think day before yesterday, the resource person said, I loved her question answer session where she said, teachers, please, some of you are very immature. Please throw away your ego. Let's really do that. Then we will get some insights from our own colleagues to help a child. Then the next community is parents. Interestingly, what we all do is there's a formality. One day, all the parents are invited for a PTA meeting. There's a signature, there is a tea, coffee, and the principal or somebody, they give an instruction. This is the fees we have increased. Come on. That is not the collaboration. A child is a child of the parent also. They know better. If you want to make use of the best in the child, let's get an insight from the parent also. So that's why I said a community, what can we do? Look at this small community understanding. I have put it from some of the films. I'm sure, Taras, per film, if you've not seen, let us sensitize ourselves by watching this film again and again. Some of us always cry when you see these scenes. See what the parents do, they fail to understand, or how they give us an insight. Look at the teacher, how he sensitizes the parents. And another film which I love, Mani Ratnam's film, Anjali, how a disabled child is really taken care of, sensitized by the parents to the siblings. Now, these are all possible when we work with the parents, my dear teachers. And this is one small photograph I would like to share. Sometime last year, I was maybe 2 years before, I was in Mysore for a conference. And one of the schools, my friend is a principal. He said, "Sir, if you're free, come to my school today. There is a children's carnival, kids carnival." He called it. I said, "What is that?" "You come and see," he said. I went and saw. What a lovely atmosphere it was, my dear teachers. It was full of life. The teachers are there, the children, parents, they bring a lot of eatables, the parents, they sell it, and they conduct competitions for children. They make some money, then they give it to charity for the poor people. I found that really a vibrant community of caring community to help children to grow as human beings. So as I said, it's not just PTA, it is a platform to really connect. I always believe two heads are better than one. I always ask people, what am I doing? Can you give me some suggestions? People give me some wonderful. In fact, I don't know whether I'm exceeding. I'm just coming to the last 2 or 3 slides. People say, Clive, sometimes you really do too much. Maybe I'm trying, but I'm always saying two ideas always help us to improve better. Then the last part is the community also. Now, what is this community? We always, kind of fail to give ownership to the community. The child is from the family, then they are with the teachers, then there are people who can help these children. Maybe a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a social worker, or a policeman. They can give a valuable resource to really help a child to become a better person. I'll give you one example, not that you don't do. Many schools and colleges do that. We have a custom every year. We call it as handful of rice. All of us bring a handful of rice to the college. We collect it. Then we all go to, at least the representatives, we go to a place where the people who are mentally retarded, it's very painful. When you go there, these people come and hug us. And it is something painful because they don't know the world which they are living. And when our children go there, they start crying and they get so attached to them, they never want to come back. Now, this sensitivity we can give, this learning we can give when we involve the local community into the learning process. And I just am concluding, teachers, I always tell this one to the teachers, teaching community. All the children who come to us, they do have something special. Just like in this story, one day, this elephant goes to this Mina and says, "Mina, you're my good friend, Mina says, "Yes, I have a small desire, Mina. Can you please help me?" "What is that?" "I want to fly." Mina started laughing. And the elephant said, "Don't laugh. You're my good friend." Mina said, "I'm sorry. Not today. You come tomorrow." Elephant could not sleep. Next day morning it comes. It is so excited. "Mina, you said you'll help me." "Yes." "Ready?" "Yes." Mina gave 2 feathers and told the elephant, "Keep it into the ears. Flap the ears, you'll fly." Now elephant started laughing. "Stupid, it's not possible." "No, seriously, it is possible." And elephant kept the feathers, started moving the ears. Mine, it was so surprised, started flying. It couldn't believe its eyes. It started moving fast. It was flying full day. It was enjoying. It could see the ocean, the forest. At the end of the day, so tired, came back to Maina and said, Maina, thank you so much. This was the most wonderful day in my life. I will never ever forget it. Thank you so much. And gave back the feathers. Then Maina asked an existential question. My dear friend, you think you could fly because of my feathers? Yes, of course, stupid. God has created you, given you two big ears. You could fly. These feathers are waste feathers. You know something? I gave it to you just to create confidence. Tomorrow onwards, you don't need the feathers. You can fly just with your ears. Teachers, I just like to conclude here saying all the children who come to us, they have something special. Diversity is all about appreciating something different, something special. Let's do that, become part of that caring community. And I just want teachers to spread positive energy. Thank you so much. I don't know whether I take a little more time. I enjoyed interacting with you. I conclude here. Once again, Dr. Rajamal and Dr. Anjani, thank you so much for this opportunity to interact virtually with this teaching community. Thank you so much.
Dr.
Thank you
Robert.
so much, sir. Excellent
Yes.
session, sir.
Fantastic. Ravi Govindaraj from
Thank you,
Qatar.
sir.
It's a
Thank you, sir.
fantastic session. It's not the class, it's the teacher who make the difference. It's not the webinar, it is Dr. Robert who makes the difference actually. So hats up to you.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for such a wonderful and amazing performance, sir. Those visuals were so powerful that it went straight into our heart like an arrow, sir. Thank you very much for such a wonderful performance, sir.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Anjani.
so
I
much.
must actually add one thing because Dr. Padmapriya, your colleague, I must thank. I had a session for them for Kerala University refresher course. That's how we got connected virtually. I think she just spoke to you. So thanks wherever you are, Dr. Padmapriya. Thank you so much for connecting.
Thank you, sir. What a wonderful session, sir.
Thank you.
I'm really proud for suggesting such a wonderful resource person like you, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's come to the part of seriously. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Good.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm Dr. Jawahar.
Sir.
Yeah. So good evening to all of you. I'm very much impressed with such a beautiful session, and the flow of the language was so fantastic. The flowing river like Brahmaputra. It was very nice. But I have a small question. Since I am connected to that, can I ask that question, Dr. Robert, sir?
Yeah, please. Yeah. If I know, I'll answer. Otherwise, anyone here in the audience can share. Please.
Sir, Dr. Robert, sir, he is one of the resource persons.
Yeah, I listened to him. Please, for your information, I attended all the 3 sessions. I did not miss anything.
Thank you, sir.
Because I was also aware I shouldn't repeat what the resource persons were sharing. Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you so much. It really is a beautiful presentation. It is a really commendable, I can say. But my question is that when I see people who are interested in video games, but in your presentation, there are about a slide that shows that video games lead to depression. Normally, games lead to relaxation and enjoyment. But how come that video games in general lead to depression? My question is simple.
Yeah. So, can I just share? I'm not saying I'm responding because when I listen to you, Dr. On that, Dr. Javagar, I was so impressed with the kind of expertise you had, but unfortunately, you didn't have the time to share some of your own real innovations. But hats off to you to bring the innovations into the platform where children learn and enjoy. But the point where I was trying to, because I conduct life skills sessions, several sessions, in fact, in one of the sessions, there were 120 children. Out of, this is not to boast because Clive is an ordinary teacher. I know my limitations. After that, the organizer said, Clive will be available for about, next 2 hours. Out of 120 children, I had to meet in about 2 hours. Like this, I had terrible back pain on that day. It was in another city in Karnataka. nearly 80 children came. And please believe me, most of them, adolescents in the age of 16, 17, they had this problem of handling the social media, mobile phone, because they lost control. Sir, what you're talking about is, your excellent way of innovating and also connecting to the student community, helping them to learn in an enjoyable way. Please, hats off to you with both hands. But my point is, when children are not guided, when they lose control, somewhere I think we lose them. That leads to stress, anxiety, and the last stage is depression. We are not the authority even to assess that. So probably, I think that's in that context where I shared, sir. But please, I once again salute you for a great work that you have done. Please continue to do that.
Thank you very much. It's just out of curiosity only, the question arises in my mind to know myself, to learn better, and to do better. That's the only idea, not to criticize anything. So I'm so sorry, because I want to refine myself whether these video games will be helpful, because these are not addicted video games. It is instructional video games. I thought like that.
Sir,
Because
100%,
every year it will be changing.
100%,
Thank you very much.
100%,
Thanks a lot, because I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you very much. It's a great presentation. I'm very much impressed. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Take care.
Can I speak?
Yes,
Madam?
Dr. Hemalata ma'am.
Yes. Dr. Robert,
Good evening.
your session was very good. And you describe all the points with media and with examples. In my view, the best practices of categorizing into 4 categories. You explained some strategies for the diverse learners. So can we include demonstrations of high expectations, implementation of culturally relevant instructions, establishment of caring relationship, community involvement? Already you suggested some of them, but not these. So can we also include these practices? What is your opinion, sir?
Madam, with all humility, I must say, all the questions that you ask, the answers are there. That's in fact, this is what the insights that we need to. Somebody said, I think when they introduced in the beginning, they said the takeaway has to be there. I do believe that if there is no takeaway, the last 1.5 hours I have wasted your time. So from me and you and Dr. Jawar, when we share like this, the takeaway is that we are more strengthened with the belief, not teacher, not classroom. Yes, the entire community is involved. You are excellent, absolutely right. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, question and answer box. Shall I read the question, sir?
Yeah. So yes, please.
Mamata Rani from, is the disabled person can affect in mental problem also? How can a teacher help them?
See, first of all, I'm not a psychologist, but I can say with experience. See, when we speak about disability, one of the things that we always highlight is, I started with the 2 examples, Sarah and Moniz. Smith. Both the cases I've seen with my own eyes, my life. But it brought tears in the beginning. But when we accepted them, when they are made to feel that it's also, in fact, I must tell you, I'm just trying to really now take 2 views. One is the physical disability, the other one is mental disability. So when you talk about the physical disability, what we did was, in fact, for her sake, Sarah's sake, one student, all the first year, second year, third year, we moved her classes to the ground floor so that it is easily accessible. Now, the first part is accepting that they also are part of that. And does it affect their mental status? In fact, yes. I would say, I'm disclosing something. This child has very often, in fact, if you see the status photos, will be gazing like a kind of depressed one or a kind of lonely one. They are under tremendous mental stress. Very often, many of these children have suicidal tendencies. So let's understand a physical disability always creates a lot of mental disability. But I also showed you a video of a child. But if you are a caring parent with full of confidence, the child will not really think anything negative, because for that child, the world is beautiful. So it all depends the environment that we create. But the mental disability, which I said, please, don't consider psychiatric cases. No. Schizophrenic cases, yes. Depression cases, yes. But the children with the basic emotional needs, all of us can be the helpers. With a simple smile, with a simple small pat, they will always remember, teacher, thank you so much for listening to me. And when they, shed the tears, they say, thank you so much. You give a hug and they'll be still very, very happy. So I think what I would like to say is that simple acceptance, yes, and definitely physical disability affects also their mental status. Yes, Dr. Shivashakti. I think you have muted yourself, Dr. Shivashakti. Yeah.
Deep Brighto.
I didn't get you. So in the first part, yeah.
Sir?
Yeah, I am.
Same person asked 3 questions, sir. Sir, what you said is absolutely correct, that we should appreciate diversity, but our country is now trying to break the diversity and make all us in one platform. What's your opinion? And same person, sir, how to develop the attitude of celebrating diversities and differences among peer group students?
Okay, so I think if I have understood all the policies of any government or any institutions, the policies are correct. We are not actually, the policies don't discriminate. But when it comes to even many of these things, the platform, there is a common platform. But that, for example, some of us, I can give this example, but it's still controversial. People are still questioning whether we require NEET, whether we require JEE. I am not an expert on that, but definitely asking a person who is very healthy to run a 100-meter race with a person who is handicapped, and if they both run, definitely a healthy person will, win in the meet, and the other person definitely be left behind. But my question is, there are some shock absorbers. So in such a scenario, the policy which is creating that one platform, they are also saying disabled people get 3% reservation, and this community gets. So there is an inbuilt mechanism to also take care of such a community which are disabled, socially disabled, physically disabled, and mentally. In fact, I have seen people who are so empowered. In fact, one lady, IFS officer from Tamil Nadu, when she was featured on a TV channel, she's totally blind. My God, that is empowering. And they are also accommodated. So there is a inbuilt mechanism for the disabled people also, even though the platform is common.
The next question. Attitude and acceptance towards these children will make the difference. Sir, your opinion? Attitude and acceptance. Attitude and acceptance towards these children.
So once again, the answer is there. In fact, what kind of attitude you have, that is your choice. For example, when you see somebody, a polio affected, person like my Sarah, so when you see them, seeing that, my God, why this child is so late? I am affected with my class because of one child, it's getting late. That attitude, which I am not, I'm too narrow. If that attitude is there, please, we need to change it. But your answer is there. If you have got a positive attitude, is open-minded, and you can hug everyone, take everyone along.
Dr. Anjanima?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's all. No questions. 6 questions only.
Okay. The question is, how can we make a student to overcome aggressive behavior in adolescent stage?
Okay. So once again, let's not really bring something aggression as a psychological thing. So to me, suppose if a child behaves differently, we may term it, once again, please, my point is, first thing is, let's not label children. that is actually putting once again a label and tag. Coming to the staff room, a new teacher is there. Teacher, when you go to that class, remember that last bench, third fellow, be very careful. And when this teacher goes there, he's waiting. I know, I got it now. Every teacher is telling about you. Now you approved it. Come and get out of my class. If we have to send all the children out, why are you inside the classroom? Now, point is, we need to really spend some time with the children. Find out what is probably creating that aggression. Is it something biological? Is it because he feels low, has a low self-esteem? Is there something in the family, or is there the children who are making fun of him? But probably there is a reaction that is coming from the child. Definitely a small little listening in the playground somewhere, it will really kind of respond to that child's aggression. I have seen many children really come very close to you, and they'll be the most friendly students who will remember you. Thank you, teacher, for bringing that love in me. So it is possible to change.
There is another question, sir.
Yeah.
That's also from YouTube. How can we make children sensitive to children with a mental disability?
So I think there are a lot of open resources available. You are asking about making children sensitive towards the children who are disabled. Is that correct? That's what I understand.
Yes. How can we make children sensitive to children with a mental disability?
Good, thanks. Now, I speak to children even about something called social sensitivity. Now, many of our children, they have not seen who is a mental. In fact, the best film I would really discuss is, I watch Tamil films, Malayalam films more. Whenever I watch this Anjali film, if any of you who understand, Mani Ratnam happens to be one of the greatest directors. I've always appreciated the kind of, the finesse with the kind of beauty which he approaches that theme. That little girl cannot speak, but how he sensitizes every parent, every teacher, every child. The film is all about in the entire community in an apartment, how initially children hate that child, they treat that child like a criminal. Finally, when the child dies, everyone cries. It is possible by having a display of this environment. Don't avoid. Please do not hide unpleasant things from our children. Don't look at that side. Don't look at the hospital. Don't go to the. In fact, I do remember when people took me to when we had a training for HIV, they're one kind of a disabled people. When I went into that, HIV ward in Chennai, my God, I couldn't stand for a long time. But second time when I went, I could talk to them. So please give that exposure. Take a child to a center, take a child to an orphanage, old age home. I think that's a way to sensitize, about a disability.
Sir, one more
Thank
question.
you, sir. One more question.
How do we
You read, ma'am. You read.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, how do we as teachers practically help young adolescents enhance their mental health during this pandemic? Sometimes we also feel helpless.
Okay. So at least I think I'll just make very brief in a minute. I had a chance at least to be in 2 webinars where I was addressing the students about, having this, facing this pandemic rather. See, one major part of all the children, whether they are high school student or college students, is anxiety. One, will I lose my parent? Will I get it? Will I be able to continue my school education, college education? Will I get a job? There are a lot of issues, and that puts a lot of pressure on them, but sometimes they may not speak to the parents. But how do we really help them? That is where I said, please put this psychological capital. And I always conclude, I did not put that slide here because I thought it was too lengthy. I always say, this too shall pass. This is not the end of it. World has seen even the worst than that. We may think that is theoretical, but we can always make them see the history. People have come out. And today people are saying 90% of people have got healed from COVID. We are coming out of pandemic. Maybe it's a matter of time. put that positive message. I'm sure it is possible. Tell them this shall pass. We are going to the next phase with a lot of optimism. Yeah. So if just for the sake of asking questions, you don't have to continue. You can, conclude. No problems. Yeah.
One more question from YouTube viewers, sir.
Yes, please.
What to do if the child asks for a lot of attention in spite of giving attention? What to do?
Okay. So this is something about, I think, in all across at home also it happens. Don't you think we are also attention seekers? We are. So it all depends, what is the reason why the child is seeking attention. But if you see the children who are mentally disturbed, they are emotionally disturbed, they really require a lot of attention. And at every stage, you need to tell them, well done. You've written your name well, and you've written every stage. Please, if some parents are here, please give them that attention. We don't lose by giving that attention. Teachers, I've seen that some children will come after every class, and some, I feel always elated and delighted when children come and say, "Daddy," I think for a teacher that's the biggest compliment. Because they want, just saying that good morning and saying that you've done a good job today, you listen to the class. They want an attention every period after every class. It's okay to give. So please do not treat them once again as abnormal. There is some emotional disturbance. If you are able to help them with that, if you are a counselor, you can definitely help them. They're coming to you, it will slowly come down, the number of times they come. Otherwise, you can refer to the counselor. Yes.
Shakti madam, I just have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
Yes,
Sri
ma'am.
Lekha.
Yes,
So, Robert Clive, so this was just a wonderful session. We were all glued to your visuals and it was really marvelous. Can you just elaborate on your observation that let us prepare children? It was a beautiful statement. I just liked it very much. Let us prepare children for surfing and not for a tightrope rope. So surfing, how can we prepare our children for surfing to enjoy life? Just elaborate on that.
Okay. First of all, Dr. Sri Lekha, in the audience presence, I must also tell you, you're an excellent communicator. On the first day during the inauguration, it was a joy to listen to you. I was telling my wife,
thank you, sir. Thanks
somebody
a lot.
who communicates well. Thank you. But the question is, I'm also a trainer. Wherever I go, I, make the statement. In fact, surfing is something that, we are passionate about. The teachers, I don't know, who are sitting here, how many of you are passionate about teaching? And we're ready to do anything. But tightrope walking is, with a lot of fear we start, with a lot of pessimism we walk, we will fail. Okay. Now, my point is simply this. When we have an optimism and we really can fly, nothing will happen to us. And, we'll fly with joy. But when there is pessimism, that's like fear, pessimism, we will definitely fail. So it doesn't apply only to the students, it applies to us also. So let's not be the tightrope walker, even on this point, for example, online classes. How many of us are so confident? We are willing to learn from our, in fact, I learned many things about when I started addressing webinars from my son. So therefore, it is possible. I'm not saying life is great. No, not at all. But I'm only saying it is possible if you have got an optimism. We don't have to get scared at all.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, to you, it is a understatement. You are somebody already very great. Yes.
No, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Sir, I am Padmapriya's colleague, Indu. Sir, words fail to express our sincere gratitude to you, sir. Felt 2 hours is 2 minutes. Filled with a string of stories and videos, the presentation was simply awesome and touching. Definitely, sir, you can transform the teaching community. Teachers like you are the need of the hour. Beautiful presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I loved it. I also love these compliments from all of you. This is what keeps us motivated. Thank you so much.
Sir, there is one more question, but it's somewhat lengthy. Can I read it?
Oh, I thought what are thanks is over. I answered.
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Please carry on.
How to make fun and make more enjoyable teaching for all types, including children who want to avoid assignments and delay to submit assignments, etc.
Okay. So I think now going back to your own theme, The answer is there, because expecting all the children to be 100% perfect and also all the children to be on time, that's where I said we promote uniformity. And I want to tell you, please, my dear teachers, understand 80% of children are serious. 50% of children, we can goad them and motivate. 5% of children will never listen to us. Even in the online classes, they may not even open your videos. Please, even in the class, when you go, this 5% of the children, sometimes we spend a lot of time scolding them, humiliating them, putting them down. They will never forgive us. Please remember that. Instead, such children, we can always find out what is something that they like, but not my class and assignment. You tell them you need to pass. That's it. Let's work on it. I'm there with you. Come on, let's sit. What's the difficulty for you? We can have a chat. But I know there is something you love, cricket, right? Maybe I can refer to your coach. Would you like to go? Thank you so much, teacher. I think that's the way to go with them. Yeah.
Sir, next
one more question, sir.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Bobby. Dr. Bobby, unmute yourself. Please ask him. Bobby, ma'am. Dr. Bobby. Yes.
Yes, sir. Like your delivery was really very excellent, sir. I'm really privileged to hear you, sir.
Thank you, thank you,
Sir?
thank you. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, she is Dr.
Yes.
Bobby.
My question is,
Dupuri College of Education principal, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, please. Yeah, you have some observation to make, please. Go
right, sir. Like I just wanted to know a little bit, like with regard to incorporating diversity in lesson plan, sir. How to incorporate diversity in lesson plan while preparing a lesson plan?
In fact, what I'm not really too familiar with, because I'm not done B.Ed, and something many of you teachers in the platform, you are familiar. But as for one thing that I can always tell you is, as part of the platform of lesson planning itself, we do prepare something called tutorials and remedials. Now, remedial is something which, if we can incorporate, we are able to help those unreached students who are weak, where normally teachers don't like to touch them. But through the remedials, as part of the lesson plan, what am I going to do to the average normal students? But to my weak students, what am I going to do? Not my classroom, but I'm going to really meet them in small groups or in the peer activity. So something I'm sure you can always incorporate something like that through remedials. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost...
Shakti, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any participant there who want to interact directly with the sir? Direct
participants?
No, I think it's already...
Who want to interact directly with the sir? Any more participants? Any more panelists?
So it's almost 6:40. I think you can leave the... Okay. Probably they are waiting to go.
Okay.
No,
okay, thank you, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Vinod Kumar, Assistant Professor, NSS Training College, Pangalam, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Vinod, you are audible.
Yes.
Yeah. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks for this session. We are fortunate to have Dr. Robert Clive as our resource person for this today's session. Actually, the topic for discussion was building a caring and supportive learning community, a holistic response to student diversities. The topic itself was wonderful, and your presentation was more wonderful. As you said, relationships have key role in nurturing a child. I think so. Everyone has a mutual sense of responsibility. Students, parents, and community has a mutual responsibility for that. I think so. So diversity is the beauty of the world. So as he said, know the child first and walk with them who needs us. That's a very precious point. Know the child first and walk with them who needs us. Actually, he has shown a PowerPoint. His PowerPoints are more powerful, and about education system. So we are following the education system. Students are very diverse in nature. their attitude is different, their aptitude is different, talent is different, culture is different, but we are following same education system and same culture, same curriculum, and we are using the same examination procedure for that. So that has to be changed. That to be seriously considered. I think so. Anyway, your videos were touching, your PowerPoints were wonderful, and I remember your first video, the Sarah to your Maina transformation was good. Sarah to Maina, it was very
nice.
wonderful. Actually, it was a very wonderful session, and you are very humble, simple, but you are very powerful. I think so. So, on the behalf of all the participants, I take this opportunity to express my gratitude to you, sir. Thank you very much for inspiring speech.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod, for those kind words. You know, I think I love hearing that. Just a small, if you're completed, you know, I don't want to disturb, but just, I think I just saw in the chat box, I'm sorry, I think somewhere I used the word disability. I'm aware it is differently able, probably, you know, probably the spur of the moment it came. I'm sorry, somebody has said it is differently able. I acknowledge that comment. Thanks.
Okay,
yes,
thank you,
Dr. Vinod.
Okay, thank you. I take this opportunity to thank the conveners of the webinar, Professor M. Govindan, Dean and HOD of the Department of Education Psychology, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University. We know that being an academician and administrator, he has some other works to perform. Even his busy schedule, he has found time to coordinate all the activities. And thank you, sir, for your support and coordination. And we have one more convener. That's our principal, my own principal, my beloved principal of NSS Training College, Pandalam, Dr. V.K. Usha Devi. When we say about Usha Devi teacher, I should say the principal having some principles. I should say like he is such a devoted, duty conscious and disciplined principal. And thank you, ma'am, for your support and keen observation all the activities. Thank you. And we have some two organizing secretaries here from Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, that is Dr. Shivashakti Rajammal, and another one is our Dr. Renchini Devi. Both of them, actually this webinar happens. All of us know that webinar like this cannot happen overnight. It needs a lot of preparation, lot of coordination. Actually, both the conveners, they worked a lot, and the wheels started rolling, I think, weeks back, and they did it well, and they make it in a fruitful. So thank you, both the conveners, for your effort to make it successful. And we are happy to mention our obligation to all the participants, because participants is a key role on it. We cannot complete it without participation. The participants has key role. So thank you all the participants for being with us this evening. Thank you, Ananda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Vinod,
for being a wonderful community of caring people and positive messaging. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Robert Kleiser, on
Thank
behalf
you.
of our organizing team. Thank you so much.
Okay. Carry on with the remaining 3 days also.
Thank you, sir.
I think I can leave now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir. Thank you, Dr. Indu, and thank you, Dr. Bobby, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Premalata, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Srilekha, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Chitra, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Batmapriyam. Thank you, Dr. Jawahar, sir. Thank you, Dr. Susilamal, ma'am. Thank you so much. We will wait.
Shakti, madam, thanks a lot.
You are welcome, madam.
For giving such a wonderful opportunity
thank
for us.
You, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
But sir, really, I enjoyed your session. Thank you so much for your informative.
Dr. Susilamal, ma'am, we are waiting.
Okay. So you carry on with your conversation. Thank you. I'll leave.
Ma'am, Dr. Anjani, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow the session topic is creating a positive classroom climate for diversity by Dr. Sushila Anbal, Professor and Head Department of Education, NMKRV College for Women, Karnataka. So see you tomorrow, same time.
Thank you.
Till then, it's bye from organizing team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jayashree, ma'am. Thank you all the panelists, and thank you all the participants.
Thank you, Shivashakti, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we leave, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.